ki khubor ka batisi TV lawan rashapi da ka Orange Nissan Loomso po near Fire Brigade Shillong.
Admissions are open at BDW International School. Enroll now.
Kajing up kami lenti jong kipat ba nong Shnong shen kan sawan orlong hadin baya ka Jingkieng ka ba pinyasno ya ka Shnong Umpling ka Shnong nongra bad kiway di ki Shnong an sa pleno ha ubnay Lber mentaus nem arhajar arpuar. Ya kanila pentip daw MLA jong kanong thamai constituency uba Charles Pengrop habaya keren bat kilat pathai khubor hadin balawai ka jingelang ka public accounts committee ha ka balai donlang ki officer jong katanat PWD badru na katanat PHE ha ka balai day bat ka jingshna ya ka nongra water supply scheme uba Charles Pengrop uliatho bakani ka scheme ka balamang pisa san point san Plie kilor tingka an sa pendep no shen kanang banyo penpoy ya ka sha ki Ying jong kipat ba uliat ru bakat kum katong balabo de katanat PHE nagani katalong an penmi hado pralak litar hakashisngi yaka
We are pleased to brief you today on the recent just concluded meeting with the officers of the Department of PHE and PWD Department, whereby we reviewed the ongoing projects, which are the construction of the double-lane bridge at Umpling, connecting Shillong City to New Shillong via Umpling, and also the internal roads, which form an integral part of the communication lines between Shillong and again towards Negrims, and the Nongra water supply scheme. In the course of our discussion with the officers, we have been made to understand that there has been progress, albeit a little slow. Well, that can be compounded because of the pandemic that, brought the work to a standstill in the year 2020, the month of March, and the subsequent fallouts because of the various restrictions imposed by the district administration, which had to be done so to avoid the spread of the pandemic. However, we are pleased to know that this bridge, which is an important connector between the two parts of Shillong, is nearing completion, and we have been informed that by the end of March, we will be able to use it, which means the connector will be open from there to connect Umpling. So that is part of the bridge. Now, where the water supply scheme of Nongra is concerned, that is, of course, of major concern because this was sanctioned way back in 2017-18. But due to certain reasons and the difficulty of the area which was chosen to build the raw water sump, that has taken a lot of time because of the nature of the soil, which is more of rock than anything else. That has slowed down the progress. But there also, we have been informed that now, by this year, I feel, it will not be very immediate, but by this year we should be able to draw water for that, from that raw water sump for the residents of Nongra village itself. So they have proposed house connections, initially just the water supply of about 8 lakh litres per day, which will be augmented in the years to come, and we implement the second stage. So in brief, that is what I would like to inform you today. It was 5.35 crores. It was sanctioned in the year 2017-18, but work started only subsequently after that. Well, that was 18 months, but because of, again, first of all, they couldn't get the proper source also. So, see, this water supply scheme this the main raw water sump. You must understand what that is. That is the main reservoir that takes all the water from different sources. So we have a source, perennial water source. So that supply will supply this sump. Then we have the existing pumps, water source which will supply this. Then they have done 3 drilling sites. One borewell will supply this sump, and other 2 will go straight to the intake tank for their treatment plant. Well, as of now, see, there is water, but is concentrated in a certain area of Noida. Now, to bring that water to the top of to the highest point of the Shnong will require large pumping sets. So that will be installed shortly. In the sense that the orders for these have been given. You made to understand, they are about 128 horsepower pumps. And those are big. Those are big pumps. So once they supply to the main reservoir tanks, the intake tanks, then after treatment, it should go down as gravity. Initial target was 2,216 households. So of course, they will have to review that and renew it. But as of now, it is for that many households. We've been made to understand that, before the rains come, they'll have to complete the raw water sump. Otherwise, another year will pass. Because during the rainy season, you cannot construct the water sump. So by end of Jan, we have asked the engineers to start the construction of the pillars which will hold the slab that will cover the tank so that the water can collect there. Now, there may be a possibility that they will not be able to complete the base of the tank, the raw water sump, because of the rocks you saw today. Which means the cubic capacity of the tank will reduce to a certain extent, which I feel could be negligible. So, but as long as the water is coming in, pumping can be done twice a day also. There's no issue. In the initial stages, it was doing well. But as soon as we started, I remember at that time, Honorable Deputy Chief Minister Rhodes, Mr. Tinsong, had told me that we shall start the bridge, and we had even laid the foundation stone. That time in the presence of Mr. A.L. Heck, and since I represent the other side of the constituency, Nongphamai, and this side, the late David Nongrom was the MLA. So we even put the foundation stone and the work started quite earnest. But just months later, hardly half of a year later, in March 2020, we were hit by the COVID. When the COVID eased, then it started raining. So there, in the rains, you couldn't work. So we were getting a lot of complaints and, let us say, a lot of insinuations that the legislators were not taking interest. But you can't ask a fellow to swim in the river and construct a bridge. And that is virtually impossible. So once the water level went down, then they started again. So this is what today we have seen the progress. And I also spoke, a little time was lost because there is a certain the design of the bridge which needs 2 bearings, where the bridge sits on that. Now those bearings also took long to come. So that also pandemic. Again, pandemic, and that was outsourced to a different provider. 24 months, they say 18 months, but as in reality, not the rains, the pandemic, 24 months should have been sufficient. Because it's just a concrete bridge. It's just the abutments, concrete, then the girders are concrete, the slab is concrete, so it's not a very complicated design. And it has a load bearing capacity of 70 metric tons. So designing such a bridge is not a very difficult proposition. 4.35 crores. Then we removed the roads, internal roads, which sanction has been made, and some work has been carried out. But that was very slow. So we have been informed today that all the schemes that were proposed under the rehabilitation and reconstruction of roads has been allotted to the contractor. So that's one good step in the right direction. Now it's up to the contractors to start and get the ball rolling. Because, again we come to the same point, these roads are feeding New Shillong. So we cannot take it lightly. It's not a question of Nongra, Umpling or anybody. These roads are arterial roads that lead. So if you want decongestion of Shillong, you have to take special attention of these roads. There is a proposal where the Honourable Deputy Chief Minister had spoken to me during that time that we will be also constructing another bridge over the that is from MES to Dongshorong Umpling and again connecting Ichirwan. Now that's quite large. The total cost of that approximately at today's rate will be about 70 crores. But that is also a very important feeder bridge to ease the decongestion from Shillong to Negroes. So that proposal we may be put up in this next budget. Shortly, as soon as we have other
reports from the AG.
From the AG.
Once we get the reports from the AG, we're going to call it.